Thanks so much, sir, for joining us today, and congratulations on receiving the Harlan Carter Award.
Really is quite an honor, and for me it's all about freedom, and that's what the NRA is all about.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of advancement for freedom in Wisconsin over the last couple of years. Let's talk first of all about right to carry. Wisconsin was one of the last 2 states in the union without any form or fashion of carry on the books, and now Wisconsin is a shall issue state, and I understand that the demand for right to carry licenses is just absolutely enormous.
Well, it's through the roof, and thankfully the Department of Justice stepped up, has done a great job of fulfilling that demand. I get a kick not only talking out at a lot of gun clubs and that I go to where people ask me to sign their permit, but what I particularly get a kick out is how many times I go to military events where soldiers, both male and female, a lot of female soldiers come up to me and say, hey, will you sign my permit? I'm thrilled to have the right to carry in the state finally. And as usual, we're ahead of Illinois. Illinois is the last state left without it. We'd like to have done it a lot sooner, but it took a new governor and a new legislature to get it done.
Absolutely. And we also know that the Castle Doctrine law is now in effect in Wisconsin as well.
It really is. Another thing I was proud to sign, you know, for me, thinking about people not only protecting their home and their property, but equally as important, being able to protect their family and their loved ones in their home and on their property. That's what it's all about. It's about protecting, standing up for the rights of individuals to protect their own safety and those of their loved ones.
You know, obviously, you've got opponents in Wisconsin who don't believe in the right to keep and bear arms. They don't believe in the right of self-defense. What would you say to those folks?
Well, you know, it's an interesting context. I think it's largely out of step with where the majority of people are in the state of Wisconsin. For years, Jim Doyle, a Democrat governor, blocked right to carry, but when it finally came up for a vote, not only did all the Republicans and one independent, but a lot of Democrats voted for it, including some from some urban areas. In fact, all the women in the state Senate, Republican and Democrat alike, voted for this measure because it's a good, positive, pro-safety, pro-personal protection measure out there. I think for either Tom Barrett or Kathleen Falk, both of whom are against this and many other things that those of us who protect and stand up for gun owner rights really stand for, just shows you how far out of whack those folks are.
Absolutely, and there is a clear difference between you and those individuals.
There's a fundamental. I mean, just to tell you, it's not even just in terms of on a particular issue or not. A few years back when the state of Wisconsin and Milwaukee gratefully hosted a convention like we're at here today in St. Louis, at that time, I was honored as a local official to give the welcome. In fact, actually, the best part of it was I got to meet Ted Nugent before he played the national anthem on his guitar. But I was proud as an NRA member and the Milwaukee County executive at the time to give the welcome. The mayor of Milwaukee, Tom Barrett, who's now running against me for governor, where was he? He was outside with the protesters. I mean, to me, just a remarkable disconnect with where not only having that many visitors to your city, but where the vast majority of people were in the state of Wisconsin.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we know that Wisconsinites are proud to be gun rights supporters and gun owners themselves. Do you think that's going to be an issue in the election?
Oh, I think there's no doubt about it. When you just think about how horribly out of touch both Tom Barrett and Kathleen Falk as candidates are, I mean, they're diametrically opposed on almost every one of these issues. And so I think for folks, no matter where they stand on other issues, if you believe in the Second Amendment, if you believe ultimately that law-abiding citizens should have the right to protect themselves, that those aren't the people we should be worried about. For years, people talked about right to carry in our state, and occasionally I'd get some pushback on it. I'd say, I'm not worried. I mean, we don't even have, in my capital, restrictions on that, because I'm not worried about the people who are law-abiding citizens who go and request to get the right to carry. What I'm worried about are the people who don't bother doing it the legal way, who've been doing it all along, and those are the people we need to even the odds with.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got a very open capital there in Madison. You can carry, you can hang signs, just don't tape them to the walls though, right?
Exactly. Well, and it's one of those, you know, even with the protests last year, I said that people said, you know, are you troubled by that? I said, no, in the end, that's what's great about America. We live in a country, I'm all for embracing freedom. And to me, that freedom's not only for people who support me, but for those who oppose it as well. But that's why we don't just selectively enforce the Constitution. We support and uphold all the freedoms, not just those that one group or another likes. And that's why this is so important. That's why I fight so hard for it. Not only in our national Constitution, we have the right, the freedom and right to keep and bear arms in our state's Constitution. And when I was sworn in last year, I moved the swearing in from where it's traditionally been in the east corner around the corner to where the Constitution was, because I wanted to invoke it. And little did I know how prophetic it was at the time. But I talked about one part of the Constitution that had never been amended, never been altered. And it was about the proper role of government, where it said that ultimately moderation, it's not in politics, but in government, moderation and frugality in government leads to freedom and prosperity for our people. Pretty profound words.
Absolutely. Governor, thank you so much for your time, sir. Real pleasure.
Great to be with you.